Welcome back to our Oktoberfest road trip. This time we'll be taking you through Liechtenstein and then going into the heart of Switzerland where you'll see beautiful landscapes in Bern, Interlaken, and Lauterbrunnen. In our last video, we finally made it to Munich to go to Oktoberfest, and now we're continuing on going to Liechtenstein. Now you may be wondering, what is Liechtenstein? I've never even heard of this place, and you would not be alone. You probably don't know it because it's one of the world's smallest countries. It's about 62 square miles, which is about the same size as Washington, D.C., and it has a population of less than 40,000 people. The country itself has a very complex and complicated history, so I'm not even going to attempt to try to explain it. But do know that there are some very beautiful castles and beautiful scenery in this country. We decided to stay in Liechtenstein overnight because it was a good halfway point between our next destination. And it was so surreal looking out our window and just seeing this castle on top of a hill overlooking all of the more modern buildings. By the time we got to the country, it was actually pretty late, so we went ahead and grabbed dinner. There were not a lot of options for places that were open, just a few hotels that had restaurants within them. The restaurant informed us that Liechtenstein is where cordon bleu originated. And when I think of cordon bleu, I think of the American version, but that is not what Liechtenstein cordon bleu is. It's a lot more like a schnitzel. After hearing about this, I came back and did a little bit of research, and I cannot find anywhere that it says that Liechtenstein is where cordon bleu originated. So I don't know if that is true or not, but no matter what, it was still really good. And if you haven't noticed from our entire trip, we were not eating the most healthiest food. And there were not really a lot of health food options. But luckily, in Liechtenstein, when we turned on the TV, we got a little bit of an exercise program that we were able to follow along with. After finishing up our exercising, we got in the car to head to our next destination, but first we had to get fuel. It was our first time filling up the car, and it was $133 US for diesel, which really wasn't that bad considering we had driven over 400 miles without needing to get gas. Now I'm going to do a little bit of a flashback to when we were driving from Innsbruck to Munich, and we finally got on the Autobahn for the first time, and John was so excited to drive fast for us to only hit traffic. Now, coming back to present time, we're on the Autobahn again for our second attempt, and it's raining. But we just waited a few minutes later, and finally the rain stopped and things cleared up, and John was finally able to go fast. We continued driving about 3 hours until we made it to Bern, Switzerland, where we stopped for lunch. Bern is the capital of Switzerland. The historic old town in the city center dates back to the 12th century. It is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. One of the most recognizable symbols in Bern is the Sieglock, a 15th century astronomical clock tower. Considering the entire old town is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, you could spend hours just walking around and looking at all of the beautiful buildings. But we were there as a stop for lunch, so we went and had our first Swiss fondue, one of their many delicacies of cheese. After our bellies were full, we walked around a little bit before we had to get back in our car and go to our next destination. But we didn't get very far. Somewhere between Thun and Interlaken, it just was so beautiful that we had to stop and take pictures. We stumbled upon this clock tower on the water, and these pictures just do not even do its justice. And just when we thought things could not get any more gorgeous, we arrived in Lauterbrunnen. Lauterbrunnen is a magical town situated in a valley within the Alps. It's famous for having 72 waterfalls, including the highest free-falling waterfall in Europe, plunging nearly 300 meters. That's 984 feet for us Americans. In addition to the sounds of the waterfalls, you can hear the bells from the cows and the sheep, just adding to the town's charm. There's also a train that passes through the town, so you get this beautiful view of the town and all of the surrounding areas. I highly recommend you take the train if you have a chance. After spending a few hours in Lauterbrunnen, it was finally time for us to head to Grindelwald to check into our Airbnb. After our long day of traveling from Liechtenstein all the way to Grindelwald, we were exhausted and hungry. We grabbed some dinner and went straight to bed. Now, I know we didn't cover a whole lot in this video, but that's because it was just really a travel day. Please join in next time as we explore Grindelwald and Fürst, Switzerland.